Love is our true divine nature, and our heart serves as the intersection of the spiritual and physical, connecting our soul with our body as the conduit for anchoring our divinity onto the earth plane. Embodying our divinity is the key to our ascension and to manifesting our highest destiny in this life. The teachings of the heart are alchemy. Join spiritual mentor and channel Jennifer Spohr each week on a sacred journey to lift the veil to remembering your divinity and meet other beautiful souls who are living the path of the awakened heart. Hello, everyone. Super happy and excited and grateful to be here with you today and to introduce to you my guest on the show, Art Giser. He is the creator of Energetic NLP, is an internationally renowned NLP trainer, life coach, intuitive, and master healer. His transformative remote energy work blends spiritual principles, transformative energy work, and neuro-linguistic programming, and has changed the lives of thousands of people all over the world. He's also known for his humor, compassion, and his magical ability to heal spiritual and unconscious blocks and open up more of people's full potential. I love it, and I can't wait to dive in. Welcome.
Yeah, I'm thrilled to be here. I love what your podcast is about and the themes and what you're doing in the world. So I'm very pleased to be here.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I'd love for you to share more with us about energetic NLP and what inspired you to create that.
Well, I'll explain what NLP is and then what energetic NLP is, because they're related but two different things. And NLP, people are also using that now to indicate AI, but it stands for Neuro-Linguistic Programming. It's a very powerful system for making very deep changes in emotions, behavior, identity, a way to acquire new skills. And if people haven't heard of it, they've heard of the most famous person in our field, who is Tony Robbins. Now, he has his own way of, dominating. Well, before I answer your question, I'd like to let people know we just had a power outage. So if I look a little like a little oddly lit, it's because it's coming from my laptop. But so to answer your question, though, it was so funny because you and I were talking about resistance and things getting in the way before the podcast. So I know this must be a good podcast. My students all know when the technology goes haywire, we're going to do something special. It's
Yes.
So I'm the creator of Energetic NLP. First, let me explain what NLP is. It stands for Neuro-Linguistic Programming. And for people that haven't heard of it, you've heard of the most famous person in our field, who is Tony Robbins. Now, he has his own rah-rah, dominating way he does things. But the core of his power to transform people's lives comes from his training in NLP. And we studied with a lot of the same people, actually. And I've been an NLP trainer since 1985. Of course, more and more people go, I wasn't born yet, but so I don't know, about 39 years ago. But what I quickly learned is as incredible and transformative as NLP is, and NLP is fantastic for clearing unconscious blocks, changing patterns of thought, taking on new skills and abilities. But like anything, it had its limitations. And at the same time, I was starting to learn more and more about healing work, psychic development work, transformative energy work of different types. And I realized you could do miracles with NLP, you could do miracles with spiritual principles, you could do miracles with the energy work. And I've always had a bit of an alchemist in me, so I always like to mix things together. My whole life, I've been like, ooh, what happens if you mix these things? So I realized if you took the elements of them and put it together, you had something brand new that had a lot of the strengths of all of them and to take the transformative work to a whole different level.
Yeah, that sounds amazing and fascinating. I really love how your work, it's all encompassing, which this conversation could be a whole other podcast episode, but to say that as humans, right, we've all lived in a society that very much teaches us to compartmentalize everything. And I love how your work, brings all of that together. I really feel like what a lot of what is missing in sustainable transformative work, right, is the ability to take that all-encompassing approach and to integrate that into our bodies.
Oh, thank you. And one of the things that I took from NLP into the energy work and the spiritual work, I mean, there's a lot of people doing amazing energy work, spiritual work. The one thing I have a little trouble with is people telling me this is the way things are. It's like they've come down from Mount Sinai with the tablets and they're telling me the truth. And I don't care how good you are. I think our minds are only consciously capable. On a deeper level, we can connect with the great mysteries. But on another level, we take this multidimensional, amazing reality, and we feel compelled to make it something really simple and direct, like you're saying, compartmentalize it. In fact, in my programs, I have something called the Energetic NLP Pledge, and I ham it up. And people that are new are looking around like, is this a cult? And the pledge is that the pledge is that they won't believe anything that I tell them. And by this point, they're laughing and they go, I don't want you to believe what I'm telling you. My goal is that you connect more with your spiritual information. I want you to play with what I'm telling you. I go, I don't believe what I'm telling you. This is what I think. So I made up a term, beliefs du jour, like soup du jour.
I love that. A belief soup.
Yeah, well, that's good too. It's a belief soup. And it's like, well, this is what the best of my understanding that I can communicate today. Hopefully 5 years from now, I'll have something even more profound to say, and on and on and on. So in energetic NLP, as you may get from that example, we believe in playful spirituality. That and I'm not saying we're never serious, but at the same time, people think that they have to be serious and work hard and concentrate and analyze things endlessly. And when you let your spirit and your deep inner wisdom be in charge, it can be lighter, more playful. I mean, there's a reason people like the Dalai Lama giggle a lot. And he's a heavy dude, as he would say, but he still giggles and writes books on happiness because he knows the power of that divine spiritual joy and what it unleashes in us when we're playful.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's been turned into a lot of cliches, or what's one of the sayings, joy is the spice of life, or I don't know, something like that, right? But I think we become immune to a lot of that because we hear it so much, because it's been turned into, a cliche,
Right.
but it's actually true. It's so true, because joy, playfulness, those are some of the highest frequencies that we can emanate.
Oh, absolutely. And the other thing is just, people know, like if you're dancing or doing artwork or writing or anything, that in order to do it well, you have to relax and just get into it. It's like, I love to dance. I don't do it that much. So when I first start dancing, I'm trying to do it right and looking around and, and I'm like, am I being really old fashioned? What are other people doing? And at a certain point, it's like, oh, heck with it, and then I dance much better.
I
It's
love that. Yeah.
anything.
Yeah. I can really relate to that, actually. When you talk about play, when I heard you reference playful spirituality, I think that's what you said.
Mhm.
There's an element of surrender in that, right? In order to be able to embody that kind of being. And surrender is something that a lot of people are challenged with. What are your thoughts on that?
It's a great question. And it's like when we say surrender, surrendering to what? And
Hmm.
there's a concept in energetic NLP, and this will answer your question, that we call your miraculous self. And it's a unique concept in energetic NLP. It's different than the high self. The high self just exists. The miraculous self is kind of like a muscle in your body that you rarely or never use. So it kind of exists, but it can't do much of anything. But when you start using it, it gets strong, it gets supple, it gets coordinated. And what your miraculous self is, it's when your spirit, and people use these words differently, what I'm calling spirit is the higher frequencies of our non-physical self, is what I call the spirit. And at that level of our being, it's kind of like the perfect parent, your spirit going, well, whatever you want, dear. You want love? Like, sure, that's a valid spiritual path. You want your heart broken? Oh, that's another valid spiritual path. Not because your spirit doesn't care, but because it just sees the big picture and sees all these spiritual options. But we also have a deep inner human wisdom that's much more in touch with our day-to-day experience. And so your miraculous self is formed when you set the intention that your spirit and your deep inner human wisdom are going to align to work together to nurture you, guide you, heal you, and support you. Nurture you, guide you, heal you, support you, and help you manifest. And in energetic NLP, the first thing I teach people is how to create their miraculous self. And then they put their miraculous self in charge of what happens. So they're not surrendering to me. They're not surrendering to an outside power necessarily. Some people think of it as surrendering to God or spirit. But in my programs, I stress surrender, not even surrender, but give up control to your miraculous self. So that because it's your spirit and your inner wisdom, it's going to guide you to what will really make you happy, successful, healthier, more loving, everything that you want in a way that your conscious mind can't possibly figure out because it's limited.
Well, yeah, the conscious mind is limited to its experiences.
Right.
Right. I mean, you're really putting yourself in a silo if you're only following that direction.
Well, absolutely. And it's even worse than that because it's our interpretation of those experiences.
Yes. Yes.
And I used to like to ask, if I had a male client who said they were either a good father or a bad father, I'd ask them, well, why do you think you're a bad father? Or why do you think you're a good father? What do you think made you that way? And the bad fathers all had the same answer. My father was a bad father and I had a bad role model. The good fathers had two answers. Either they had a really good father and they had a good role model, or they had a terrible father. And they'd tell me things like, they'd go, and I remember thinking, when I'm a father, I'm not going to be like my dad. So same experience, but the meaning they put on it is different. And that's not any kind of blame. We all put meanings on things that don't serve us. But the opportunity when you become more self-aware and more guided is to go, wait a minute, why do I think that means that? In fact, I used to do a lot of work in corporations like Fortune 50, Fortune 100 companies on leadership and teams. And sometimes we'd work with a team of people that hated each other. And I'd interview everybody ahead of time. And it was hard not to laugh because people trust me. And they were right, because I tell them, like, if I reveal your secrets, I'm out. Nobody will ever work with me again. So I have more to lose than you do, even. But besides, it's just my values about it. But so I'd know what people were thinking, and it wasn't so much what the other people were doing or not doing. It was the meaning they made up. Like, you're disrespecting me, you're respecting me, you don't have faith in me, you're ignoring me, and like with the same, let's say, leader, people on the team, one person might go, well, she never gives me any advice, she just ignores me. And the next person goes, it's wonderful, if I ask a question, she'll answer, but she never gives me any advice. She tries, they're having the same experience, but they layer a different meaning on it. So that's one of the great strengths of NLP, is there's a lot in NLP, and at least in traditional NLP, about that. A lot of NLP taught today, unfortunately, is really watered down. They teach a bunch of techniques. They don't teach what an NLP, not the techniques. It's this whole way of thinking.
Yeah. Of course, I'm totally taking in everything that you're saying. I want to just take a moment to emphasize what you said, because it's such a gem about, I'm paraphrasing, but to say that, experiences only have the meaning that we attach to them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's so key. what you said.
A quick, I think, funny story on that. And in NLP, if you have good rapport with somebody, sometimes you kind of tease them a bit. and I was working with this guy once, and he goes, "Oh, my problem is my father never approved of anything I did." And I went, "That's not true." He went, "What?" And I go, "What you said wasn't true." And he goes, "You weren't there." And I go, "Still wasn't true." And he's starting to get a little irritated.
Yeah.
And he goes, "What do you mean?" And I went, "Did your father tell your mother everything she did wrong?" He went, "Yeah." "Did he tell your brother everything he did wrong?" He goes, "Yeah." "Did he tell you everything you did wrong?" "Yeah." And I go, "So everything he didn't mention, he approved of." And he went, "Oh." And I go, "I'm not saying that's good parenting, but now that you're an
Right.
adult, you can go back and recode your past and
Yeah.
realize everything he didn't mention was an approval."
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'd love for you to walk us through your process.
Yeah, I can take people through a process. It's easy, powerful, that they can use. I mean, there are a lot of processes in energetic NLP,
Yeah.
but this, we can do one that's simple and powerful. Is a way to clear energies out of your energy field. And I know you know this, but people would be appalled at how much of the energy in their energy field isn't theirs, particularly any emotional state that a person doesn't handle well. Either you have it too often, or you don't handle it well when you do have it. It's because most of the energy is not even your energy. It's either past life, earlier this life, but even more, it's all these energies you absorb from other people that are stuck in your body and energy field. And that starts when you're in the womb. And nobody ever taught us to clear those energies out. And and particularly for people like us that work with other people, we need to be clearing our energy a lot. But really, everybody needs to clear their energy every day. It's sort of like brushing your teeth, and it can be quick and easy. So if you'd like, I can teach a really easy way to do it.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. Thank you.
So in energetic NLP, part of the process is always you set an intention, you add the words "or better." So you're giving your miraculous self permission to give you something even better than you thought you wanted. So you set an intention, add "or better," give 100% permission to receive the benefits. Because just because you set a heartfelt intention doesn't mean your system's giving permission. So, and permission's a whole big field in energetic NLP, but even just this first part of going, I'm giving 100% permission to receive the benefits, is very powerful. And then you put your miraculous self in charge. And then the last ingredient is super easy, which is why it's hard for some people, is you use your imagination. So when you're doing energy work, if you're going, and this is the way I used to do it too. Am I doing it right? Is it working? I'm feeling this. Should I be feeling this? Should I be seeing something different? I just thought about my laundry. Is that wrong? We're doing all this analysis. And the way around, and you don't have to stop analyzing. You just need to turn down the volume and consciously imagine energies are coming in, imagine they're doing their magic, and then later you'll see if anything happened or not. And when you imagine it, what happens is you open the portals in your unconscious mind and your spirit for the energies to work with you, guided by your miraculous self. So I encourage everybody watching this, while you're doing it, and don't do it if you're driving. I hope that's obvious, but you never know. Never ever do anything I suggest when you're driving. Don't even listen to me when you're driving. But while it's going on, it's not about believing that it's working. So when we were children, we played imaginary games. I mean, some of us still do. And, you didn't even think, you knew it wasn't real. It had nothing to do with anything. It was like, I'm an astronaut, I'm the president, I'm a singer, whatever, actor or actress. And whether it being real had nothing to do with it, you were just having fun with it. So while this is going on for people, just pretend it's working, and then later you'll see. So the first step is take a couple easy deep breaths and set your intention that your spirit and your deep inner human wisdom are right now going to form your miraculous self. Just set that intention. Give 100% permission for it to happen. And then just pretend it's happening. It's somewhere mysteriously in your energy field, your deep inner human wisdom and your spirit are coming together to form your miraculous self. And you don't need to know what your spirit is because it knows what it is. You don't need to know what your deep inner human wisdom is because it knows what it is. You just have to have the intention and permission and imagination. And now just imagine that you have a miraculous self. And we're going to use the symbolism, the metaphor of a magnet, because pretty much everybody played with a magnet or saw somebody else do it when they were a kid. So it's wired into your unconscious mind. A magnet is a thing that has energy. And if you let go of the pin, boom, the magnet pulls it. So the magnet's doing all the work. And when you imagine these imaginary magnets, your miraculous self does the process. It understands the metaphor. And so just think of it as a metaphor. You don't need to visualize it clearly. Just pretend there's a magnet out there. And we're going to do 4 of them. Now, one other concept that's important before we do it, in energetic NLP, we don't talk about positive and negative energies. The reason is as soon as you label an energy as negative, you're likely to go into resistance to it. And as the old saying goes, what you resist persists. So we say that energies are either yours or they're not yours. They're either yours or they're not yours. If they're not yours, they're helpful or they're not helpful. And we want to clear the energies that aren't yours and aren't helpful. As simple as that. We're not saying they're good or bad energies. They're just not helpful for you. The other energies we'll be clearing are energies that don't belong in present time. So they could be past life, typically painful, emotional states. They could be from childhood, but they're energies that don't belong in the present. And the good news is your miraculous self will figure all of this out. And we're not trying to get it all at once. This is a simple process that I'm going to suggest people do it in the morning and the evening. And once you know it, you can do it in 2 minutes. So right now, ask your miraculous self to examine your body and energy field and identify any energies that aren't yours and aren't helpful, or energies that don't belong in present time that it wants you to release right now. And let it just start identifying those and pretend that it is. And we're not trying to do them all at once. We're just going to release whatever energies come off easily right now. There's more advanced techniques, and I'll tell people how to do that later for the energies that don't easily come off. So right now, just whatever easily comes off. And then imagine a magnet out in front of you and give your miraculous self permission to use that magnet to clear energies out of your chakras, cells, organs, your energy channels, your energy field, from the middle of your body out in front of your body. Just imagine whatever energies your miraculous self wants released are going off to that magnet. And you don't need to know what they are. Mm-hmm. Your miraculous self has figured that out. So don't analyze it, just let them go. Your miraculous self is not going to let go of anything you should keep. Mm-hmm. But also keep in mind your energy field is above you, below you, all around you, in you. And there are chakras in your energy field above your head. So they're being cleared too. And there's a number of them. Happily, your miraculous self knows all about that. And there's ones even below your feet and lots of them in your body, not just 7. So just imagine, I see these sort of like cartoonish squiggles and clouds and things go off, but you don't even need to do that. Then you drop that magnet into the earth and imagine that the earth will transmute and recycle those energies. Mm-hmm. Put a second magnet high above your head, and it's going to clear from your shoulders, inside your head, all around your head, your whole energy field, going up at least 9 feet, 3 meters, because there's lots of chakras up there. And just imagine the energies that aren't yours, aren't helpful, or don't belong in present time are leaving your energy field in chakras and head and shoulders and neck, and your telepathic channels in your head. And there's a lot of chakras in the head, so they're all being cleared. And then you take that magnet, drop it into the earth. The earth transmutes and recycles the energies. One of my favorites, put a magnet behind you, because a lot of energy literally hides behind our backs. Let it clear the back of your body and energy field. Again, your cells, your DNA, your organs, chakras, energy channels, the layers of the energy field. Just whatever comes easily. Drop that into the earth, and the earth transmutes and recycles. And the fourth and last magnet's already in the earth, and it clears from the base of your spine down through your legs, your feet, going down at least 3 feet, a meter below your feet, because there's chakras there, and all around your energy field. And that's just draining off into the earth. And I only know 2 quotes from Aristotle. One is, nature abhors a vacuum. Nature abhors a vacuum. And what and the problem, a lot of people, and I was taught this way, you would clear your energy, but you didn't do a great job of filling back up. So ask your miraculous self to fill you up with more of your authentic essence and with earth and universal energies that support you now and in your next steps in life. And let your miraculous self figure all that out. It knows what your essence is. It knows what energies will help you. And just imagine your cells, your DNA, your organs, your body systems, chakras, channels, energy field are all filling up with more of your authentic essence and earth and universal energies that will support you. Easy, deep breaths. And then let's do grounding, energetic NLP style. I'm kind of a type A lazy person. I mean, I think at heart I'm a lazy person, but I'm always doing stuff. I'm not quite sure how that happened. But so normally people ground themselves into the earth. Let's try it the other way around. The earth is more powerful than we are. Give the earth permission to ground you. So imagine the earth does all the work. It sends up a column of energy from the heart of the earth to the base of your spine, near the base of your spine. And then this is really important, and I never hear people say this. Give the earth permission to ground only your authentic energy into your body. So it's grounding only your authentic energy into your body. And a fun way to imagine that is, imagine there's a point of light in your energy field for every cell in your body. And when the earth grounds you, every point of light pops in the cell it belongs in. And then that grounding column, like the root of a plant, what nurtures you is coming up. What you're ready to release is gently going down. And this is something I suggest people do in the morning when they first get up. I've gotten better, but I used to be one of those people who woke up like, ugh. But I would start as soon as I'd wake up, still lying in bed, I'd do my 4 magnets and fill up. And that was like, hello, world. You know, it's like 180 degrees. You do it before you go to bed and you'll sleep. You'll get deeper rest. You'll sleep better. You can do it during the day. If you work with other people and you feel like you've gotten a little, what did they say in Ghostbusters, a little slimed? Not meaning that in a negative way, but you've just taken on their energy. You can use it to clear. Then you can use it before a presentation or a talk or a meeting. And I know you were going to have me mention this later. I'll mention later a series of 4 free videos I have. It will take people through this technique and some more advanced techniques. So along with also watching this podcast again, and I can talk you through it, you'll have access to those videos, which will teach you this and some more advanced energetic NLP techniques that will allow you to clear whole deeper levels of energy and a lot more. I keep laughing with this lighting. It's too bad it's not Halloween. It has kind of like they have in one of those cheesy Halloween shows with the lights.
Yeah, that was fantastic. That was magical. I know there are a lot of very empathic, sensitive people listening to this that are going to appreciate that. Thank you so much. And I mean, there's a lot of that I love about your process. One of the things that really stands out is how easy you make it, how relatable you make it, right? And what you say about that there isn't a need to know why. That's a lot of what gets us, kind of in our own way as humans, right? It's like our ego mind's like intense need to know the inner and outer workings of everything, and we really don't need to know.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. And we do have one thing, we call them learn do's in energetic NLP. So anything that will just release, it means there's not only do you not need to analyzing it will make it worse because you actually build it back up. But there are some things that your miraculous self won't let you release until you learn something and or do something. And
Yeah.
in the videos I mentioned, it tells people what to do about those, but 99% of the time, you've already gotten the benefits, the learnings, that it's just let go of it.
Yeah, exactly. Let go. Let it go. What's that song from Frozen? That
Oh,
movie.
right.
Um, so one thing that I know a lot of people feel challenged with or become challenged with, right? It's like there's the initial clearing, the
Mhm.
clearing of your energy. What are some best practices that maybe you're feeling guided to share around how people can maintain a clear energetic field through behaviors that are more supportive of moving toward, where they want to be, right?
Yeah. Well, one thing that I'll really suggest, and again, in the videos, it'll show people how to do it, is I don't know if you've ever weeded a garden, but I remember when I was a kid, and I grew up in Southern California in a time when it was sort of like Barbie-ish. Everybody had to have perfect lawns, and they had this dichondra grass, and a weed looks terrible in dichondra grass. So I spent my whole childhood weeding. And I remember one time my father, and it's Southern California, so we weed all year. And I was like pulling the tops off of weeds, and my dad just goes, "Well, you can do that, but if you don't get the roots, you're going to be back here next
Right.
week. 2 weeks from now, you need to get the roots. Up to you, but um, and in the same way, if you just clear energy, which is what I used to be taught to do, and then you fill up. So I would go to this class, we'd clear each other's energies. I'd feel fantastic. Every day I'd feel a little bit worse. I'd go back to class the next week, I'd feel fantastic. Every day I'd feel a little
Mhm.
worse because we weren't getting the roots. And what I was taught, and what I believe, my belief du jour is that uh, energies, everybody's the sovereign of their energy field. So if energies are staying stuck in your space, they've got to hook into something of yours. And if somebody else is vampiring your energy, it's because they're hooking into something of yours. So all of that can be a gift if you go, what's the roots of this? And often it can be karma, spiritual contracts. Very often it's unconscious beliefs. For a lot of people, particularly women, but some of us men too, it's like we believe we have to take care of other people. So somebody's energy goes, oh, good. you know? um, uh, so it's important to start clearing and healing what those energies are hooking into, or if it's somebody taking your energy, what in you is giving them permission to do that. And you don't have to figure it all out like with everything else. You put your miraculous self in charge, and then this process is where you dissolve the roots in and whether you think this is good news or bad news, I mean this more for the people watching. I believe in the onion theory. You peel off layers,
Yeah.
there's more layers and more layers and more
Yeah.
layers. But, which some people think is a negative thing. I think it's great because every layer, I don't think any of this has an endpoint personally. I mean, maybe,
No, we're eternal students.
yeah, yeah. So when now I'm at a point like, oh, new layer of the onion, great, my life will get even better. Oh, another layer. I mean, once you have things you can do
Mhm.
about them, they're not scary, they're just like, okay, next. But every layer your life gets better.
Yes.
So uh the point of that being is that you get the roots, but there'll be a deeper plant.
Yeah.
But it gets more interesting all the time too. It's, I don't know about you. I at a certain point I'll get bored with my old pet pot problems and patterns. It's like I'm boring myself. I want to do some. I want to get something deeper, more interesting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're wired for expansion.
Yeah, exactly.
That's who we are, despite, again, there's just a lot of, again, it could be another podcast episode and conversation about all the inversion that exists out there, right? It's like change is, we're taught to fear that, but it's really the opposite of that. That's the true essence of who we are, is, evolutionary beings. I mean, we're meant to always be experiencing something new and expanding. I'd love for
Absolutely.
you had mentioned this course a couple of times. I'd love for you to share anything else with us about the course.
Well, it's called blockbuster7.com, like the one word blockbuster numeral 7.com. And it's free. And you get a series of 4 videos, one a day for 4 days. And then you have access to them afterwards. And it takes you through a series of really, really easy and really, really powerful energetic NLP techniques for clearing unconscious programming, limiting beliefs, karma, spiritual contracts, and then clearing, but also then opening and blossoming more of your potential. I believe that everybody has the potential to do miraculous things. And, not everybody's interested in that. It's not everybody's path. But I don't know about you. When I was young, I hope I'm one of those special people who can do this energy stuff and psychic phenomena. And then I realized I was. And then I realized, well, everybody is.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, everybody has access. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And for those listening, we will have a link for that course in the show notes included as well.
okay, just one other thing.
Mhm.
On Sundays, I do a free world healing and personal healing, and it's called Change the World from Your Living Room.com. Change the World from Your Living Room.com. And first, we do a world healing meditation. The whole thing takes about 45 minutes. And then everybody gets a really powerful individual transformative energy healing. And a lot of people tell me it's one of the highlights of their week. And it's free every Sunday. So you can get
That sounds
information.
amazing. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And in closing, what else are you feeling guided to bring forward?
Yeah, that because of and I'm not blaming the media. I mean, there's plenty of things to blame them for, but because of how interconnected the world is now,
Mhm.
it sometimes seems like everything's bad, everything's wrong, and of course, and again, it's not all the media's fault. It's like people would rather watch the news about disasters and here's a new school in Ghana or something, um, and um, and so for one thing, there's always been stuff happening in the world,
Mhm.
and when I was young, there was massive starvation all over the world. Like places like China, massive starvation, India, massive starvation. Now it is so much. There's so many things that are better. So to not just focus on what needs to be improved, and I'm not saying to ignore that. We want to pay attention to it, but we have I mean, the fact that you and I can be. I like to tell people my brother back in the 70s moved to Japan for a few years to teach students there, and it was so expensive to do a phone call. We would record cassettes, and mail them to one another because a phone call.
Yes.
And now I talk to people internationally all the time, and you're up in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. I mean, and people can be watching this from all over the world. So it's important to, yes, we need to focus on what needs to improve in the world, but to do it from a place of such incredible gratitude. I mean, I like watching historical dramas sometimes to just see how people lived. It was just
Yes.
like, oh
Yeah.
my, it's like
Yeah.
clean water. It's like,
Yes. We're blessed. We're blessed. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, there's so much to be grateful for sure. And when we choose to focus our energies at that frequency, that amplifies, that creates a ripple effect. I believe you mentioned it earlier in our conversation. You said, well, I mean, I'm paraphrasing again, but it's essentially wherever we direct our attention to, right, is the frequency that we're emanating, that we're creating. And so, yes, absolutely, there's value in being informed. What I share with people a lot is that, there is a lot to care about in the world. The greatest way that each one of us can make a positive difference in the world is by being clear in our own purpose and our own role, and honoring that and fulfilling that here. And when we do that, again, we're creating a ripple effect of authenticity and positivity, and that, illuminates the way for others.
I think that's beautiful. And again, for people, what we're both saying is we're not ignoring the things that need attention, but we're embracing and blessing and bringing the strength of, there's something, I don't know if it's a traditional Hawaiian thing or not, but they call it the Aloha principle. And the idea is you bless examples of what you want to see more of in the world. So you see people resolving conflicts in a good way, you bless it. You see somebody wealthier than you, if that's, if you want more abundance, you bless it. You just really focus on what's good. And at the same time, that empowers you to change the things that we want to change.
Absolutely. Art, for those who are feeling guided to connect with you further, where is the best place for them to go?
Well, to experience the work, the blockbuster7.com is a really good way, or change the world from your living room. If they want to connect with me directly, if they email support@energeticnlp.com, support@energeticnlp.com, that's the best way to message me directly. Of course, I'm also on Facebook and Instagram.
Yes, all the places.
So I must say, I'm not on Instagram much. I need to fix that, but I am on Facebook a lot.
Wonderful. Art, what a treat. What an absolute honor to connect with you. I mean, I could, talk forever.
Well, thank you.
Love having you.
I'm so happy to be having this conversation with you, and I so appreciate the work you're doing in the world.
Yes, likewise. Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to Path of the Awakened Heart. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts or pathoftheawakenedheart.com so you never miss an episode. To learn more about living with an awakened heart and navigating your ascension journey, visit me at jenniferspore.com.